no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report hosted by Mitchell Renz. How you feeling? Raiders win 32-31 over the Denver Broncos. And even though this team didn't make the playoffs, they are ending the season on a high note. And I want to give Jon Gruden a lot of credit for having the balls to be able to go ahead and get that two-point conversion, which ended up winning this football game for the Raiders. They knew that the defense probably wasn't going to be able to get a stop. You didn't really want to go to overtime either. So in a game where you didn't really have a lot to lose, you ended up trusting your offense, who got you down the field. You went for it on two, ended up converting. Also, shout out to Darren Waller. 9 catches, 118 yards, a touchdown. Yes, he had a fumble, but he broke Tim Brown's record for most receptions in a single season by a Raiders player. The old record by Brown was 104 catches. Darren Waller has now broken that with 107. So shout out to Waller. They were able to end on a high note. What you guys are watching right now is our Raiders versus Broncos post-game reaction. Make sure you're using hashtag Raiders. Make sure you're super chatting to get on the show. Now, do they sponsor BetUS? And if anybody throughout the entire season has bet on the Raiders, hopefully it was through our sportsbook partner. If you haven't already, I get that the Raiders season is over, but you can still bet on the NFL playoffs. And if you want to, I encourage you to do so. How do you do it? Chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125 gets you 125% deposit bonus. So if you deposit $100 for your loyal watchers, you get $125 for free. Deposit $200, get $250 for free to bet with. There is no better deal on the internet, and even though that there is no more Raiders football for this year, seriously, bet on the playoffs. It makes it a lot more entertaining. And if you have any questions whatsoever on how to get started, email me, Raiders@chatsports.com for some details. I got you set up. I'll get you set up here. All right, y'all. We got Spurter. What up, my brother? 47-57. This win is so strange. Feel like we got away with it even though we were bad. No way Marinelli stays as DC. Also, we need a new offensive coordinator. Win is still a win. I agree. Win is still a win. I don't think that Rod Marinelli should be the DC next year. I would actually hire somebody a little bit younger. And, yes, I'm also on board for hiring somebody also younger as an offensive coordinator because I think that's one thing that this team definitely needs. Some more younger coaches that match the young talent. But there's going to be a lot of players that the Raiders need to clean house on in defense. There's no doubt about that. But, hey, shout out to Jacobs. 2 touchdowns. Solid game. We got WYL Don 14. Last year we said Carr needed the true number 1 wide receiver. So what has changed? He still needs one. Quit blaming Carr. You're right. He does still need a number 1 receiver. But I thought Henry Ruggs had an okay game. Sure, he had a really costly fumble. Hopefully he's okay. He ended up leaving early. Bryan Edwards had a phenomenal game. 2 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Waller is that number 1 receiver, though. Like, I get a lot of times like, oh, he needs a true number 1. Darren Waller is a true number 1. Whether he's slotted as a tight end or not, he's a number 1 receiver, and I don't care what anybody says. Now, does Derek still need, I think, potentially another guy? Probably. Do I see Nelson Agholor testing free agency? I definitely do. Do I want to bring back Nelson Agholor if he's asking for more than $7 million? No, I do not. But Carr does need to be better in certain situations. 25 touchdowns is great, but he also had 15 turnovers this season, or 16 turnovers. That's just way too many. I'm sorry. It's just way too many. Let's go to Super Chat coming in. Raiders keep Carl Nassib. It's a good question. The biggest issue is his contract. So the Raiders signed him this offseason, 3 years, $25 million. If you decide to move on from Nassib, it's a $5.7 million dead cap hit. If you're like, you know what? I don't want to keep Carl Nassib that much. Let's get rid of him. We'll eat that dead cap hit. They could do that. I just think that Nassib has played better the last 3 weeks of the season. You keep him. You pay him what you owe him, and then the next year after that, that's when it's a lot easier to let him go. So, yes, I do anticipate them keeping Carl Nassib this offseason. All right, so make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the Las Vegas Raiders Report. Free videos all offseason. I know the 2020 season is over, but here's the thing. Free videos every single day for literally every day in 2021. You're not going to have to pay for a thing. We're also going to continue to do live shows every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. If you're a die-hard Raiders fan and you want content around the NFL draft, free agency, trades, breaking news, I got you covered. Subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a thing. All right, next guy's coming in from Daniel De La Mora. What up, brother? Mitch, I felt more hopeful about this team last year than I do this year. What about you? No, I feel more hopeful this year. I think it was the reason why we feel so bad because it was 6-3 and you finish as 8-8. This team is more talented this year on the offensive side of the football than last year's team. It's not even close in my opinion. The biggest issue has been the defense. And mix of COVID, mix of injuries, that's why the defense was so bad. But in the Raiders' history, think about how old the Raiders franchise is. This has been statistically the worst Raiders defense in the history of the Raiders. That's bad. That needs to be fixed ASAP. But I still have a lot of confidence in this team going forward. And you can hate on Jon Gruden, you can hate on the team all you want. 4-12, 7-9, 8-8. They're getting better. It might take a little bit of while. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they are getting better. Another super chat coming in. Sign Juju Smith-Schuster. No. Juju is not the wide receiver that I hope the Raiders sign in free agency. Give me Allen Robinson over him. Give me Chris Godwin over him. Give me Kenny Golladay over him. I don't want somebody who's another 1B. Juju's not a 1A receiver. Sorry, he's not. So the Raiders did come away with a win, 32-31 over the Denver Broncos. But you know what? I want to know who the Week 17 MVP was. Go down to the comments section and let me know. My top 3 MVPs in this game. Number 1, game ball. Darren Waller for breaking Tim Brown's record. Also 9 catches, 118 yards, and a touchdown. Yes, he had a fumble, but it was also a good play by the defensive player. Put his helmet right on the ball. Second MVP, Josh Jacobs. 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. A clutch 28-yard touchdown run at the end of the game, and then the touchdown to get it to 30-31. The final MVP, Derek Carr. 2 bad interceptions, and then led 2 clutch touchdown drives. Derek has always struggled at times, I say, stepping up when it matters the most. I also hear the stat that he's got the most fourth-quarter comebacks. I actually hate that stat personally because that just means you're down in the fourth quarter a lot. But in this was a game where he showed some balls. Also, Jon Gruden got a touchdown when it mattered the most. And, yes, Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback next year. All right, let's go to Chris. What up, man? All you guys who say Carr is the problem are peanut butter Falcons. I don't know what that means, but I don't think he's the problem. I don't know if Derek Carr is the solution. I don't know if Derek Carr is ever going to be able to bring you a Super Bowl, but he's definitely not the problem. So he threw for 371 today, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But the reason that people are so split on Carr is because I think people overhype him up. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's never going to be a top 5 quarterback. He is a fringe top 10 quarterback. He is an average quarterback, and that's okay. But he's not an absolute garbage quarterback. That's the big issue. You have too many people that think he's top 5 or too many people that hype him up on Twitter and too many people that just honestly just blow this guy. And then there's too many people that are too tough on him. So that's the biggest issue with the Carr debate. He is a good quarterback. He can lead you to a playoff. That's okay. You need to be able to accept that. All right, y'all, continue to use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. You keep sending in Super Chats. We'll stay live here. So shout out to Raider Nation 044 for your super. And shout out to Abel Herrera. Can you take a shot for my stepdad named Abel? I might be able to. All right, so we got one coming in from Sons of Al. Do we have any chance at getting Trevor Lawrence? No. You're not getting Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. You'd have to literally give up like 5 first-round picks for Trevor Lawrence. And I'm not kidding when I say that. The Raiders are going to be drafting probably around like 16, 17. To go ahead that high up for a quarterback is highly regarded as Trevor Lawrence. Probably literally going to cost you 5 first-round picks. That ain't going to happen, Sons of Al. But appreciate your question. Christopher, what up, man? What do you think is wrong with the O-line? We're not getting any push. The O-line, I mean, Denver actually has one of the better defensive fronts, but I actually think the offensive line today played pretty well. And I think this was a big game for John Simpson, so there's a report out there whether or not Simpson's going to be a starting guard next year. And this was a game that gave him a big tryout. And the Raiders' offensive line, I thought, had a pretty poor first half, but they played really well in the second half. And that's when you really started to see some of these big runs by Jacobs, who finished the game with 5.9 yards per carry. And going into the half, I believe it was 7 carries for 14 yards. And then they first play of the first half, or second half, a nice big long run of 18 yards, and they fed it to him again. I mean, overall, I'll tell you what, it was a very, very impressive game from top to bottom. I mean, there is no doubt about that whatsoever. So, solid game there by Josh. And I actually thought the offensive line played pretty well. So if you guys are enjoying the show, if you're diehard Raider fans, if you want to know what I'm doing during the offseason, hit me up on Instagram. If you ever want to talk Raiders during the offseason, I am on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. So I know a lot of times I can't get to all your questions, and I apologize. I mean, we got thousands of people watching right now. So I promise you I will answer your questions in my DMs. Just always hit me up. Also, I do IG Lives at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, we got Carly. Carr is getting paid like a top 5 quarterback. Sad. That's not true. That's very, very false. Carr right now is the 16th highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. So do the math. All right, Nathaniel, what up? Protest at Allegiant next season if it's like past 2. No, I don't really see why you would protest. I don't know. I'm not really a big protesting type of guy. I don't really think it solves too much. I would say you just got to continue to try to get better. Do we want late season collapses? No, we don't. But I don't know. I don't really think protesting personally at Allegiant Stadium solves too much. That's just me, though. Let's go to Edgar. J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is still on a contract with the Houston Texans. If they decide to move on from him, it's going to save $17.5 million with a $0 dead cap hit. My issue is this. J.J. Watt wants to go to a team that's going to be contending for a Super Bowl. As much as I want to sit here and tell you that the Raiders can contend for a Super Bowl, they're just not there yet. So if J.J. was smart, the teams that I think he'd be best off going to, like the Pittsburgh Steelers joining his 2 other brothers, they're probably up there if Big Ben can stay healthy. But there's a lot of teams that are going to be wanting J.J. Watt if he's let go of Houston. But I would be shocked if he's not brought back just because of how much he means to that city. Let's go to Isaac. What up, man? Edwards, small breakout game. It was a small breakout game. 2 targets, 2 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. But, like, his back shoulder fade, that was beautiful. Like, that's why you wanted a guy like Bryan Edwards. And when I saw his production today, it gave me a lot of confidence that the Raiders are going to confidently move on from Tyrell Williams, save $11.6 million, and you can use that money and invest it into the defense. That's personally something that I think they should absolutely do. So we got a super chat from Joseph Weisberg. What up, Joseph? We need to draft a defensive tackle in DE in the first 2 rounds and sign a free safety in the offseason and sign Wade Phillips. I like Wade Phillips a lot, but there's some younger defensive coordinators that are starting to pop up that I might like a little bit more. Free safety, Justin Simmons, Anthony Harris, top 2 guys. Even like a guy like Marcus May I would absolutely love. Heck, Marcus May, and you would give me Justin Simmons, I'd sign up for that in a heartbeat. And then defensive tackle, Marvin Wilson, is a guy that I like a lot. My top edge rusher, Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. All right, let's go to another question here. Use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. So what I want you guys to do, grade Gruden's performance versus the Broncos. Scale from 0 to 100. 0 being it was terrible, 100 being it was the best. I'm going to give Gruden a solid 90. And the reason why is because when it mattered the most, Gruden made some smart calls. And the smartest call that Gruden made the entire game was the 30-31 when they were down, going for 2. The Broncos with 24 seconds left had a timeout. Not only did he go for 2, which I'll tip my cap to, he also made the Broncos burn that final timeout. So instead of the Broncos having 24 seconds and a timeout remaining, they had 24 seconds and no timeouts remaining. So I actually think that was a big difference maker in this football game. So I'm going to give Gruden a 90. But, hey, go down in the comments. Let me know what you would grade Gruden for this final game. Got another super chat coming in from Gary Hamilton. What is the plan for the O-line in the offseason? Bring back Incognito, let Trent Brown walk. I actually think that you could see both Incognito and Gabe Jackson get released. If you release Incognito, it saves about $6.5 million. If you release Gabe Jackson, it saves $9.5. If you let go of Trent Brown, that's $14.1. And that's $35 million I just cleared up pretty simply. Right? Is that the right math? No, not quite. $30 million. I think you keep Colton Miller, you keep Rodney Hudson due to his contract, and then you have John Simpson play guard. If Denzel Good's healthy, I'd actually bring him back because I thought Good played well this year, and then, sure, you might be able to look into a right tackle into the draft, but Trent Brown's great, man, but this is another game where he wasn't able to play, and I'm not trying to pay a guy $14 million who, 1, I don't even think wants to be a Raider, and 2, he's good when he's on the field, but he's just never on the field, man. So the next Raiders Report Live is going to be January 5th on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So unfortunately, no more watch parties. It's Week 17. The season is over for the Raiders. But I just want to be able to tell you all that, hey, if there's breaking news in the offseason, I'm going to go live. And every single Tuesday, we're going to cover the latest Raiders news and rumors. We're going to do fun segments. We're going to do live mailbags like you're watching now. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. All right, it's going to be quick. We got Carl's. It's Carless. Come on, dog. Carr less? Okay. Carr less. Gotcha. Sorry, man. All right, we got Adrian. What up, dude? How do you feel about Abram this year and Crosby? Abram was a major disappointment. He was actually one of the worst safeties in all of the National Football League, and I actually think that they should try to convert him to linebacker because Jonathan Abram is not good enough at covering to play safety in the National Football League. And in terms of Crosby, I'm not really surprised. He had 7 sacks. I predicted that he was going to have 8 this year. He's not the type of player that's going to get double-digit sack seasons. It's just not who he is. He is a good defensive end. He can't be your best defensive end to be a successful football team. It's the truth. If you want to hate on me, please go ahead. But Max Crosby is a 4th-round pick, absolute steal. Max Crosby to be your number 1 leading edge rusher on your team, I don't really think that can happen. All right, Michael Robinson, what up? Last question, unless we get another super chat. What defense position are we drafting in the 1st round? Derek Carr worth money. What defensive position are we drafting? I'm saying defensive tackle or edge rusher. That's where I'm going. If you want to take a safety, potentially, but I think you can get some solid safeties in the 2nd round. The kid out of TCU, Javon Holland, also LeCount from Georgia, I think is pretty solid. Even the guy from Syracuse. Those are all Cisco from Syracuse. So those are the positions I would probably go in the 2nd round. Those aren't 1st-round guys for me. But, hey, appreciate everyone that was watching. If you could, please go down, hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365.